friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the King James Version of the Bible, and we are in Psalms, book 3, Psalm 78, and we are doing verses 56 through 64. So we're not finishing it. There's still more. And this is for a maskil of Asaph, where Asaph is recounting all the ways in Jewish history that God showed up for the Israelites. Because remember, in the Psalms, he promises that he never doesn't look out for his inheritance. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High God and kept not his testimonies. Archaeology proves that instead of actually listening to God, the Israelites, Jacob and all of his descendants, are guilty of pantheon worship. Let's remember that. They never kept their promise to God, and they never drove out all the rest of the people. And that is why they still to this day have the problems of violence over there, as God promised. So there will probably always be war there. That's just what is. But turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They turned aside like a deceitful bow. For they provoked him to anger with their high places that they were ordered to destroy, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images that they were ordered to destroy, in order to keep the land. That was the condition of keeping the land. Destroy the images. So essentially anything that's going on with the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, and the Masons should not have existed if they had destroyed the graven images. Because you can find that Knights Templar guy, Hogan, all over Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, talking about the Anunnaki. And there's literally the archaeologists who are all up in there, German archaeologists, I can't remember what time frame, but I've got like a book of their white papers put together in a book format that flat out says the Anunnaki, or the term for the Babylonian pantheon. So what they're complaining about, what God's complaining about to Ezekiel in the temples, is what they were doing. They never kept their promise to God. Okay? We're not supposed to act like them. When God heard this, he was wrath and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among men, and delivered his strength into captivity and his glory into the enemy's hand. So yes, he will hand you over to your enemy if you are not going to obey. Obey, okay? He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given in marriage. Their priests fell by the sword. Not even their holy people escaped. And their widows made no laments. So the men were so terrible that when their husbands died by the swords, their wives didn't even cry. Just think about that. Think about that as a legacy of great-grandmas. So, I hope you'll join me tomorrow, friends, when we will continue this. Verses 65 through 72. So we can remember how, instead of we want to believe it happened, how God, who is in charge of everything, says it happened. Because archaeology is proving him true. Archaeology is a form of science. Science is, for me, a finite study of our good Lord. Because everything in nature, everything in history, everything in everything belongs to God. Till tomorrow, friends.